have already gone to other councils throughout the province and throughout the nation, identified what their strengths and weaknesses are, where they get funding from, what they do and what their vision and mission is, and then try to adapt that to our area, all right? Having worked with multiple organizations and events here in the region, kind of been on the front line to understand, okay, here's what our region can handle, all right? So with that being said, as you will see through that document there, if you have a chance to read it later, you'll see what the vision and mission of the organization is, who we serve, the board of directors. LAWS would fit into the diversification and education portfolio, which also includes true sport, kids sport, community outreach, special needs programming, parasport programming, organ donation, and go for health. All right, so we want to really empower the board to get the right people in the right positions whose skills play to that, to those individual roles. And then from there, we develop our subcommittees, we execute our programs, and we engage the community. It's great that you mentioned about a website, because thinking ahead about Trillium, I was thinking, okay, there's a need for a website where people could easily go to and find out what's going on in all the sports. All right, so toward becoming a member, if you're a sport club, the things that we can provide again are board governance, marketing communication, fundraising sponsorship, volunteer development, bidding and hosting, event management. All right, and from there, just taking a quick poll, because I just want to see hands. How many of you think we can host Commonwealth Games? All right. Yeah. Well, right now the next bid that's open is 2022, but another bid is in 2026. So in that plan, there's a 15-year strategic plan toward hosting events. In the first 5 years, we focus on building our foundation as members and groups, as well as just really getting good at running our regional events and focusing on provincial events. In the next 5 years after that, we do everything that we did in the first 5 years, but now we're focusing on national events and a few things like Canada Games or North American Indigenous Games. And in the last 5 years, we're doing everything that we did in the first 10 years, but now we're focusing on international events. During that time on an annual basis, with some of the money that we are, pardon me, securing or that we're saving, we put a little bit of away into the bid package for Commonwealth Games in 2026. And the last thing, based on the long-term athlete development model, having been a volunteer coordinator and understanding what the challenges are of volunteers, there is a psychology behind it, and I've started to do work on what's called a long-term volunteer development model. So it understands what the psychology is, why do people volunteer, what are their motivations primarily in sport to volunteer, is it community hours, and from there, with that 15-year plan, for example, it shows you how people can be exposed to volunteering in sport, getting the basic skills from putting up a tent to eventually becoming board level members, all right? So what we need to do is find a mechanism that brings volunteers in, brings them up the level, and as the task difficulty increases, so does their ability to perform, all right? So right now, we could host the Commonwealth Games if we just took the dirt from Parkway, made a bike venue, and then brought in the infrastructure for netball. But again, as a coach, as a former coach, pardon me, the last thing I'd ever want to do is put athletes in an opportunity where they would fail. You want to put them in an opportunity where they could succeed and they could live up to their skill potential. So that's why within 15 years, it sounds like a far time away, but thinking that far ahead, that's where our play could be for Commonwealth Games. All right, thank you very much for your time.